They can make the difference in winning or losing a game. They sit behind the plate and receive pitches upwards of 95 miles an hour. What position do you think this is? Yes, it's a catcher. So almost all of you have seen pro baseball or high school baseball or even Little League baseball. All of them have the catcher, and the catcher is a great character to study because of all the responsibilities as well as skills that he has to have in order to be good. So I've been playing baseball since around 6 years old and have just been around the game my entire life. So I am very skilled in this area. I know a lot about the sport. So today I'm going to be defining the 3 necessary skills that you need to be a good catcher. So the first skill that we're going to talk about is blocking. Blocking in baseball can be one of the hardest things that a catcher has to do. According to Dave Holt, an ex-pro catcher, blocking is the hardest and also one of the most important qualities that a catcher needs to have. So basically in blocking, they have to throw their body in front of a baseball like this, and they have to get the ball to come down right in front of them so a runner doesn't advance. What this does is it saves runs, and also it helps you build a good relationship with your pitcher. If the pitcher trusts you to block a baseball, then he will be comfortable throwing it there and you'll get more swinging strikes, which leads to outs. The next skill that we're going to be talking about is receiving. While blocking is very important, receiving is also up there with the same importance. So basically when we're thinking about receiving a baseball, whether that's a curveball, a fastball, a changeup, you have to always work from outside in. So if a pitch is coming from this side, you're going to catch the ball as you're going in. So basically you're working outside, you're working everything to the middle to make it look more like a strike. So what this is going to do is you're going to get more borderline strike calls. So a fact I found from ESPN is if a catcher gets a borderline 0-2 count, strike 3, they could potentially save 0.62 runs per game. And that might not sound like a lot, but if you multiply that by the amount of games they play, they save roughly about 50 runs per year, and that's a lot. So also what good receiving is going to do is it rewards pitchers for hitting the corners. So instead of throwing a fastball down the middle that a hitter's looking for, they can place it on the corners and trust you as the catcher to go farther out this way, and if you bring it back to make it look more like a strike, you'll get those pitches. It makes them feel more comfortable and able to throw those outside pitches. So the third and final skill that I'm going to be talking about is throwing runners out. Throwing runners out is very important because you just have to be able to control the run game. But by being able to control the run game, you can save a lot of runs from scoring. So basically, if there's a runner on first base and he easily gets to second base, he's now in scoring position. And once a runner's in scoring position, it's a lot easier to score on a base hit or something rather than him being on first base. So David Hruska, a baseball analyst, he analyzed Joe Mauer, a professional big league catcher, and he found that last year he would give up 1 stolen base per roughly about every 11 innings. And that next offseason, he worked a lot on his footwork, his mechanics, and his ability to throw runners out. And the next season, the first half of the season, he ended up only having 1 runner steal a bag on him in 43 innings. So that's a huge impact. So by keeping runners from scoring, it helps pitchers focus more on the batter. So if the pitcher knows that you're a solid catcher back there, you're going to throw him out if he runs, they're going to have more confidence to make those borderline pitches we were talking about earlier. So blocking, receiving, and throwing runners out are all huge parts in becoming a skilled catcher. Kobe once said that great things come from hard work and perseverance. And you just have to realize that you're not all born, everyone isn't born into this world with these skills. They have to learn them and work on them throughout their life in order to be a good catcher. So what I want all of you to think about today is I want this to entice you to, whenever you watch baseball next, some of you may not ever see it again, but the ones that do, to focus a lot on the catcher because of all the responsibilities and things he has to deal with throughout the game.